Everybody good?
Three, two, one.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Hamilton Township Council meeting for July 21st, 2020. This meeting is being held with the benefit of public notice as required by the Open Public Meetings Act. And Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Mr. Carabelli?
Here.
Ms. Phillips? Here. Mr. Whalen?
Here.
Mr. Reparo?
Here.
Mr. Ty?
Here. Councilman Perry, would you lead us in a salute to the flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And could we just have a moment of silence for the 170 families who have lost, Hamilton families who have lost family members to COVID-19, followed by the invocation. Councilman Carabelli.
Please bow our heads. Heavenly Lord, guide this council body to serve the people of this township with compassion and humility. May we pray for our world, country, and township as we recover and heal through this pandemic. May we also follow your many examples from your most holy word and be kind, merciful, generous, and humble in all we do. To your name we honor forever. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Councilman Carabelli. And before we go to the consent agenda, I just have a statement on behalf of the township regarding the euthanasia of two dangerous dogs on Thursday, July 9th. So I just wanted to take a moment to speak to everyone in this public meeting with regard to the animal shelter and humane euthanasia of the two dogs 2 weeks ago. We've all seen the emotional Facebook postings, the media articles, and we've all received emails and phone calls from a few of our residents who have expressed concerns and had questions about our decision. The administration did not take this decision lightly. It was based on substantial evidence, which I will share with you tonight in full transparency. By doing so, we hope that you will have the full story and not just bits and pieces that you may have read on Facebook pages, which are not official pages representing the township, and may have confused you into thinking they were the official shelter page. So first, the Hamilton Township Animal Shelter is and will continue to aspire to be a no-kill shelter. A no-kill shelter is a shelter which does not kill healthy or treatable animals, even when the shelter is full, reserving euthanasia for terminally ill animals or those that are considered dangerous to public safety. A no-kill shelter has a generally understood benchmark of saving 90% of all animals entering a shelter. Our animal shelter currently meets and exceeds that benchmark. These two animals that were euthanized were deemed dangerous to public safety. The township obtained behavioral assessments of these two dogs from St. Hubert's Animal Welfare Center. An independent organization was invited by the township to evaluate these dogs, but upon witnessing the dogs in their kennels, that organization refused to open the kennel doors and complete the evaluation. We also reviewed and compiled internal bite reports and veterinarian reports. More than one person in the administration reviewed and considered the known history of these two dogs in determining whether to make the difficult decision to euthanize the dogs. Now, we, as well as the behavioral experts we rely upon, look to the Dunbar Dog Bite Scale. This scale defines bites on a 1 to 6 level scale. To put it into context, a 6 is where the victim dies as a result of the dog attack. We've been advised by experts that dangerous dogs cannot be rehabilitated by a trainer brought in during a several-week or several-month period. It's a lifelong commitment by the animal owner to rehabilitate such a dog. Further, just because on any given day a dog may behave while in the company of a known human, it does not mean that that dog can be trusted at all times to behave without unprovoked offensive aggression to others. Ultimately, as the expert advised us, it is inhumane to keep dogs in their kennels for months or years when they are kept there to protect the public. I review with you the facts of these two dogs. We had a dog named Buttonwood who came to the shelter 2 years and 9 months prior with a history of multiple damaging bite incidents. On July 22nd, 2017, while he was an owned pet, he jumped out of a window, ran across the street, and attacked another dog that was behind a fence on a neighbor's property. 2 months later, Buttonwood left his property again to attack a man who was mowing his lawn. That attack was considered level 4 on the Dunbar scale. When the EMT arrived to care for the victim, Buttonwood attacked and bit her multiple times. This was at least the second, if not third, level 4 attack on the Dunbar scale by Buttonwood within 2 months. After Buttonwood came to the shelter on March 10, 2020, he attempted to bite a staff member of People for Animals when he was there to be neutered. The next day, when he was back at our shelter, he attempted to bite 2 of our ACOs, then attacked another dog at the shelter, biting his muzzle and taking 3 staff to separate the dogs. During St. Hubert's assessment, Buttonwood engaged in offensive aggression. He snapped at a child, toddler-sized doll several times, and bit its hands, as well as bit and shook a fake dog. Ultimately, the director of behavior and training for St. Hubert's wrote, quote, "Buttonwood has gotten to know some specific people during this time at the Hamilton shelter, but unfortunately that does not equate him to being a safe dog in the community. Any decision made with regards to Buttonwood needs to put public safety first. We already know he is bitten and he is likely to bite again." Regarding the second dog, Lucky had been in the shelter for 1 year and 9 months, which is too long a time for a dog to be in a shelter, frankly. But the dog had been in the shelter for 1 year and 9 months prior to the report. St. Hubert's expressed concern that Lucky's behavior was deteriorating and that his current behavior was unsafe to people and to other animals. He had 2 bites this year. The last bite happened in June and is now subject of litigation, which some of you may have read about in the paper. The bite was unprovoked during a meet and greet for potential adopters, in which he grabbed the woman's arm and held on until a portion of the flesh of her forearm was removed. The victim's injuries are allegedly substantial, requiring reconstructive surgery. According to the Dunbar scale, it was a high level 4 bite. As St. Hubert's expert wrote, "A dog that delivers a bite of this magnitude during a routine greeting is dangerous to the public. While it is distressing for everyone involved, the priority when making a decision regarding his outcome must be to keep people and other domestic animals safe." In conclusion, it was clear to the team evaluating the dogs that public safety was endangered by these dogs. The liability flowing to the township to continue to shelter these dogs was too high, too expensive, and indefensible. In evaluating the public safety and costs to the town taxpayers, the risks far outweighed the benefits a few individuals enjoyed through the relationship with the dogs at the shelter. As part of its duty to the public, the township will continue to evaluate the animals in its shelter with an eye toward public safety. On a final note, with regard to the volunteers that had developed a relationship with these dogs, because they were sheltered for nearly 2 years at our shelter, we admit to making one mistake during the process of determining to euthanize these dogs. Our administration was not aware that promises may have been made to these individuals that should the township decide to euthanize, the individuals would be given time to say goodbye. Upon learning of the apparent promise, we allowed the individuals time with these dogs prior to being taken. Therefore, going forward, we have adopted a policy to give a 3 to 7 day notice to any individual who has a relationship with an animal of our intention to euthanize because of the animal's poor health or because of any danger that that animal poses to the public. Thank you. And with that, we will move on with the agenda, but Madam Clerk, we're going to go out of order just because we have Carrie Fuhrer, the Director of Water Pollution Control, here with us, and she has several items on the agenda, and I wanted to give her a chance to speak to those items and to answer any questions. So let's see, so the items involving Carrie, do you have those?
3B?
3C, 3D, 3E, 3F. Anything else?
3G.
3G?
So 3B through 3G.
Correct.
So what we're going to do is, we're going to take those items first.
Very good.
So let's go ahead.
Okay, Resolution 3B is a resolution establishing a contract with George S. Coyne Chemical Company Incorporated for the supply of hydrochloric acid for the Department of Water Pollution Control in the amount of $12,491.94 maximum.
Okay. Any questions or comments from council regarding this? Carrie, did you want to give us an explanation of this item?
I'd like to say that the 6 resolutions before you, plus 1 ordinance, the 6 resolutions are either extensions of existing contract bids or new fair and open contract bids. That's all they are. I believe 2 of them are for services and 4 of them are for chemicals. So these are standard chemicals we use within the wastewater treatment plant. And if you'd like more explanation on what the chemicals do, I'd be glad to provide that.
All right, with seeing no further comment or questions from the public, from the council, we'll open it up to the public. We're going to do 4 and 2.
Q&A session has started.
Seeing no members of the public wishing to comment, I'll entertain a motion to close the public comment portion.
I'll move we close the public portion.
I'll second the motion.
Madam Clerk.
Q&A session is over.
Madam Clerk.
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips? Yes. Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Reparo?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Madam Clerk, is that through 3B through 3G or in one?
We have to take,
No, you're
we have
gonna
to
do
take
each
them one at a
resolution.
time.
Yes.
Yeah, we have to take one at a time, okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Carrie, I don't see which ordinance what ordinance are you talking about?
That's a vintage at Hamilton easement,
Oh, that's,
Oh,
yeah,
the
that
Sorbo.
does
Okay.
involve
which
you.
we can discuss or not discuss at your
Oh, we're definitely
discretion.
going to discuss. All right. Let's go on to 3C.
3C is a resolution approving the second and final extension to contract 18-153 and contract 17-144 with Univar USA, Inc. for the purchase and delivery of liquid caustic soda for the Department of Water Pollution Control. This is in the amount of $32,575 maximum.
Any questions from council or comments from council? Carrie, did you wish to, we'll go ahead and open it up to the public.
Q&A session has started.
It appears no members of the public wish to comment, so I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to close public comment and move on Resolution 3C.
I'll second it. Madam Clerk, oh, hold on.
Session is over.
Okay, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Reparo?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. 3D is a resolution establishing a 2-year contract with Southern Ionics Incorporated for the purchase and delivery of liquid sodium bisulfite for the Department of Water Pollution Control, the amount of $83,400 maximum.
Any comments or questions from council? Carrie, what's the, you want to give us just a brief explanation of the liquid sodium bisulfite?
That chemical is used to dechlorinate. So we chlorinate with sodium hypochlorite, and before we release the cleaned water back into the river, we have to take the chlorine out to nearly zero. And in doing so, we protect the environment by not allowing for THMs to be produced and the fish, et cetera.
It's an expensive chemical. All right. If there are no other comments from council, we'll go ahead and open it up to the public.
Q&A session has started.
And it appears that no members of the public wish to comment on 3E. So I will entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion to move Resolution 3D.
I'll second that.
Q&A session is over.
Madam Clerk.
On the motion, Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Reparo?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. 3E is a resolution establishing a 2-year contract with Belt Press Consulting Services and parts purchase Comline Sanderson Corp. for the Department of Water Pollution Control in the amount of $94,928.
And Carrie, you were saying this is an ongoing contract?
This is a new contract, which is a 4-year with a 2 one-year extensions. And Comline Sanders, that is the brand of our manufacturer, but this is put out to bid, fair and open. So we can get other vendors, but they're uniquely qualified. It is not engineering consulting per se, it is vendor services.
Okay.
And as explained, they're the owner of the piece of equipment,
Manufacturers,
the manufacturer of it.
We own the equipment, right?
yes.
They're the manufacturer.
Okay. So,
And one other question, Carrie, at the time of the bids, they were the only bidder, or was there multiple bids?
I'm sorry, I don't recall.
Okay.
should be in our notes.
Who was the lone bid, Mr. Whalen?
It was the long bid. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And with that, we'll go ahead and open it up to the public.
Q&A session has started.
Seeing no members of the public wishing to comment, I'll entertain a motion.
Council President, I'll make a motion to move 3E
And to close.
and close the public comment portion.
Thank you.
I second the motion.
Madam Clerk.
Q&A session is over.
On the motion, Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Reparo?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. 3F is a resolution approving extension number 3 to contract 16-264 with GenServe LLC, formerly known as Atlantic Switch and Generator LLC, for annual preventive maintenance and repair of emergency generators for the Department of Water Pollution Control, in the amount of $100,000 maximum.
Any members of council wishing to comment?
Just a quick question. Carrie, approximately how many generators do we maintain? Well, you don't have to give me the exact count, but
We have 3 diesel generators at the treatment plant, and we have, I'm going to guess about 6 at the different pump
different pump
stations.
stations? Okay. Thank you.
Any other members of council? Seeing none, let's open it up to the public.
Q&A session has started.
And there are no members of the public wishing to comment, so I'll entertain a motion.
Council President, I move, close the public portion and move on 3F.
I'll second the motion.
Q&A session is over.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Reparo?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. 3G is a resolution establishing a 2-year contract with Russell Reed Waste Hauling and Disposal Service Company Incorporated for the hauling of sludge, grits, and screenings for the Department of Water Pollution Control, in the amount of $246,228 maximum.
So, Carrie, here we are talking about the sludge. And, I'm under the impression that, so there's the final product, if you will, the solids that are...
Cake.
Is
Or
that called,
sludge cake?
it's called sludge cake?
Yes.
Okay. So, the sludge cake is,
Turn on Michael.
I'm sorry. So, there's the sludge cake, and then this contract is to, get rid of a different type of sludge. Am I correct in my understanding of that?
Well, it says sludge, so it really means sludge cake, and then it says grits and screenings. The sludge cake is taken out of larger 25-yard dumpsters where you saw in our sludge building, and it says here, grit and screenings. That's taken out of the headworks from the bar screens, the ones that rake up real tall from the deep water. And
The
they put it.
circular,
No,
No.
it was in the Headworks building, and it wasn't too smelly that day because, you know, things were quieter, the odor control system was working very well.
yes,
Et cetera.
thank you for that, giving us the tour on that particular day.
So the screenings at the head of the plant, you get a little grit, which is similar to sand, corn, sticks, different things like that. That's pulled off the rake and it goes into a different dumpster. It doesn't go through the process, and nor does it get all the way down to the belt filter presses where we make sludge cake, where it's pressed. So that rough stuff, grit, et cetera, that's what they're called, grit and screenings, that goes out of a smaller 10-yard dumpster at the head of the plant. They also haul that, they haul both, those size dumpsters.
It's closer to the beginning of the process.
It is at the beginning,
Okay, so this is a standard part of the process?
yes.
Okay. Okay. So unless, thank you, Carrie, for that clarification.
And obviously, something I always look for is multiple bids, and it looks like there was multiple bids, and Russell Reed was definitely the lowest if you look at your bidding on
Working
this
material.
material.
Good.
Vince has been our hauler for a long time. They were sad not to get this. I think there was a mix-up on their part, but this is what the bids are and the numbers are, so I think they'll be hungry next time. They were sad about that. I'd like to also say that the tipping fees are included in this per dumpster when you bring it to the landfill. But the actual landfill costs are paid by different contracts that we have.
Okay. So with that, unless anybody else has anything, we will go ahead and open it up to the public on 3G.
Q&A session has started.
And it's now open to the public on 3G only. We'll just give it a moment to see if any members of the public wish to comment on resolution 3G. It appears no members of the public wish to comment, so I will entertain a motion.
Council President, I'd like to move on closing public comment and move on 3G.
I'll second that.
Q&A session is over.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Reparo?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Passes 5-0.
Now, Madam Clerk, because we have Carrie here, and we do want to get her on her way, can you just jump to 20-040, the ordinance on first, well, actually, this is on first reading, and really the time for discussion is going to be on second reading. So perhaps you can just call in at the next meeting. I mean, if you know what, would you give us a quick, let's bring it on, let's do the first reading if we could, Madam Clerk, if it's all right. And, we'll just have a quick clarification on this.
Okay, ordinance 4I is ordinance 20-040, an ordinance accepting a deed of easement for sanitary sewer, Charbel Parkside LLC for the project known as Vintage at Hamilton to be located at 2275 Coosa Road, also known as Block 2575, portion of lots 47.83, 47.186, and 47.187. This is first reading and introduction.
Yeah, so, let's see, we have this at our desks, Allison. Brand copy of that here.
The number was changed. What is reflected on your agenda as 44, because the other ordinances were removed, it got moved up.
Just add this.
That,
But
you
there were certain ones
have a copy of it? Yeah, I was gonna say, I did send it out via email.
Yeah, it was sent to us by email. This was a last minute addition to the agenda, so it's not in our books.
No, it's not.
Okay. So do we have paper copies
I will get.
for everyone to reference?
Do you want to go for the office?
Well, I just wanted council to be able to look at it while we're talking about it. So, all right, we're just going to, while we're doing that, Carrie, can you just tell us what we're doing here?
I'm going to guess about 5 years ago, this project tried to start, and it got stalled,
Yeah.
for whatever reason, various reasons. Then it stumbled for a couple years, and then sort of went quiet, and then it came back, I'd say, last year. They submitted sewer plans, but their sewer plans had to tie into our existing sewers, and they were upstream of a pump station, and that pump station needed enlarging to accommodate their facilities, but also some pipes were very badly deteriorating, which also needed lining or replacement. Those are Hamilton's pipes.
So the pump station is our pump station, the pipes are our pipes.
That's our pipes. This is downstream,
And
but
this is prior to
their
the
development.
construction of their development, independent of their development. These are the conditions.
Correct.
Okay.
On the other side of their development is an existing Cruiser Hollow pump station. It's a small pump station. It takes a flow from about 32-ish houses. It behooves Hamilton, when they can, to get rid of pump stations, obviously, for infrastructure purposes, energy, maintenance costs, etc. Anytime we can get rid of any pump station. So we took this opportunity to work closely with Charbel to improve not only the existing pump station, which is operating downstream, the one we talked about first, and we can get rid of this pump station by putting a pipe from that pump station, the Cooser Hollow pump station, across and tying into the old pipe that's being rehabilitated on the other side, across from their property. So we worked with them very closely, and they worked very well with us in accommodating all this work for the benefit of both of us. So we can get rid of that Cruiser Hollow pump station, but in order to get the flow over there, the property immediately west of their most western boundary is very difficult for us to cross because of our environmental constraints. But if we just stepped onto their property, and we could run our pipe along their property and have an easement there, our sewer pipe, 8 inches, cut across the property and go over to our other existing pipe with a gravity line, get rid of the pump station, we'd be golden, and they agreed.
Okay. So, Anthony, Councilman Carabelli.
I just have a quick question, Carrie. Is the pump station that you're talking about, is that on Cruiser? I'm trying to picture where it's located.
The Cooser Hollow Pump Station, I'm sorry, I don't know the address.
Okay, okay. But that, we're trying to, that's going to go away
That
eventually?
pump station, the small one, will go away.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
All right. So, Alyssa, thank you for putting that out. While you were in the other room, Carrie gave us some great clarification on that, so we probably all feel a lot more confident moving forward with this ordinance now. But does anybody else have any questions or comments?
Council President, I just had a question for Carrie. If this development, let's say, like you said, this is, we're doing this because the development is coming in, like, or would we have been doing this anyway? To improve our
I
infrastructure?
have to believe that property is owned by somebody else. The one that they either bought or owned or someone owned, we would like to have always crossed it. So we always watched for that, and now is the prime opportunity.
Okay. So this is a first reading, so unless anybody else has any pressing comments from council, we'll just go ahead, Madam Clerk.
Can I have a motion, if I may, please?
Yeah,
No,
we're
we'll-
moving on first reading.
Just move it on first
There's no public comment on first reading.
Okay. Mr. President, I'll make a motion to introduce ordinance number 20-040 on first reading.
I'll second that.
Madam Clerk?
On the motion, Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Reparo?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Passes 5-0.
And with that, Carrie, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
I understand that you had a question regarding the digester thickener project and whether or not solids are reduced from leaving the plant. Would it help that? Would you like any clarification on that?
Yes. Thank you.
So the question is, does the project get rid of solids or reduce solids so we can alleviate hauling, right? If we get rid of solids and reduce them, we can haul less out of the plant. The short answer is yes, it does reduce it. So we have two main components of the thickener digester project, which is it's already started construction, not physically, but they're in the shop drawing beginning phases. And the thickener just thickens, it doesn't remove solids, so it just helps process solids more efficiently. It doesn't remove solids or get rid of solids, but the digester does. How does it do that? The digester, what comes into it is about 70 to 80% volatile organics, and they're decomposed, basically, in the absence of oxygen. So this is an anaerobic digester, and it's mixed. And what happens is, so if you say half of that, say 40% of those are inorganic, 50% of those are decomposed before they leave a digester. So we reduce and get rid of solids that much. And what does it turn into? Methane and carbon dioxide. So methane is a good thing if you can use it and control it or do something with it and put it back on the grid. Well, we do. We heat our digesters with it. So we have boilers which heat the digesters and keep it they like about a temperature about 90, 95. They're usually 85 to 100 degrees. They're sort of like your stomach. They're the stomach of the plant. Their other characteristics are the alkalinity, they're particular too, and the solids stay there about 15 to 30 days. But that methane that this process produces is reused to heat, and so we're not using our natural gas unless the digesters are not making enough methane. So, and if we make too much methane, we burn that off. So it's a beneficial reuse in that capacity. Our biggest digesters, we have two of those, 800,000 gallons of sludge they hold. And they also aid in pathogen reduction. What else would you like to know?
What else, everybody?
Here's a picture.
Hey, see you on that? So my understanding of what you just told us, my layman's understanding, is this is actually going to reduce the amount of solids that we eventually have to truck out of our facility,
Correct.
and therefore ultimately resulting in savings of energy, cost, and manpower.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's great. So here, Councilman Caravelli, take a look at this picture.
Thank you.
All right. Well, listen, I appreciate you staying. We wanted to get all matters concerning your department at the top of the order so that you could get on your way. So unless you had anything else for us, we will just thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks. Great. Thank you, Carrie.
Thanks. Thanks, Carrie.
All right, and with that, we are going to go back to regular order. I see another director in the room. Director Dumont is here. Fred, I didn't expect to see you so soon. I thought you were going to call in after the ball game tonight. Ah, it's T-ball after all. We got to watch out for those T-ballers. Well, better luck next time. Hopefully this heat will break and everybody will be able to play ball safely. But Fred, if it's all right with you, we're just going to continue on with regular order. All right, very good. So, Madam Clerk, we will continue with the consent agenda.
Agenda, we have items 2A through... Thanks, Kev. I'm sorry, Council. Under consent agenda items, we have 2A through 2S for your consideration.
I'll entertain them. Any comments from council regarding the consent agenda items? I'd like to thank those volunteers from the community who have volunteered to serve on the zoning board and the environmental commission, and congratulate them in advance. Otherwise, we can open it to the public unless any members of council have any comments. Okay.
Q&A session has started.
All right, it appears that no members of the public wish to comment, so I will entertain a motion.
Council President, I'll make a motion to close the public comment portion on our consent agenda and move the consent agenda 2A through 2S.
Thank you.
Second the motion?
Q&A session is over.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Caravelli?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips? Yes. Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Reparo?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Consent agenda passes 5-0. Moving on to resolutions, 3A is a resolution enabling the allocation of additional funds awarded through the State of New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection Green Acres Program in the amount of $750,000 to be used for pending and future open space purchases.
Kathy, do we have a particular plot of land that we are allocating this money toward the purchase of?
This is probably from a past purchase. I don't have that list at my fingertips here, but generally, this is something, a purchase that was already approved on our list of approved open space acquisitions that we want to make.
Reimbursement.
Right, and so generally, you go ahead and you make the acquisition, and then, once it gets funded by the state of amounts that have been approved for you, it makes it available for drawdown on that. So this is really just making application for that reimbursement. We have to do a few things before the state in order to then get that reimbursement, and this resolution is one of those items. We update our ROSI, and we do that, and a few other tweaks, I think, on the application, but other than that, it's part of the whole drawdown procedure.
Okay. Thank you. Councilman.
Kathy, just a quick question, a follow-up question. So the goal would be, I noticed that the number was like 1.5 million is where we want to get to, but this is half of that right now. We're hopeful that when we reapply, we can go after that additional funding.
We will be able to do that,
Okay.
and it just, we wait for the state to fund
Fund those,
whatever those portions are.
Okay.
So far, they've funded 750,000 of that, but there are additional monies that we're unable to draw down from, but they just haven't been funded yet.
funding yet. Okay.
So it's all just a timing mechanism, like,
Yep.
Okay, if there are no other questions or comments from council, we will open it up to the public on 3A.
Q&A session has started.
All right, it appears that no members of the public wish to comment on 3A, so I will entertain a motion.
Council President, I move we close the public comment portion and move on Resolution 3A.
I'll second the motion.
The Q&A session is over.
Madam Clerk.
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips? Yes. Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Reparo?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. Moving on to 3H is a resolution establishing a contract for the surfacing and conversion of 2 tennis courts to 6 pickleball courts at Veterans Park with Field Turf USA LLC from approved cooperative pricing systems for calendar year 2020 via the Educational Services Commission of New Jersey, Co-op. This is number 65 MCES-CCPS, in the amount of $137,380.
Council.
Please.
No question. I don't know who to direct this to, I guess Kathy. This is already part of, we already approved this in the capital funds, right? From, was it this year or last year? Was it? I think last year,
This
right?
is actually was on last year's.
Last year's.
But as you know, that we didn't do an ordinance for
Ordinance.
last year. So tonight you have a second reading of an ordinance that this will be part of that. It's a line item in there.
Yep.
And there's
That's what I thought.
125,000 in the current capital ordinance for that. But we won't have to use all of that because we still have a little bit over 31,000 of Mercer at Play grant monies that we're going to use first towards this resurfacing, and then the balance will be used against the capital account.
And I guess there's more individuals that are interested in playing pickleball court, and there's enough tennis courts that are out there.
That's correct. So
to,
this is just balancing it out, making a few more of the pickleball courts. We still have plenty of tennis courts that are getting use, and all of our existing pickleball courts are getting a lot of use. So they're all very happy that we're putting in 6 more courts for their use.
We just received an email tonight before the meeting started from somebody thanking us for the additional courts.
Right, from the organization, right.
Yes.
Just a quick question, and I was reading up on it, and pickleball is new to me, but it seems like it's become quite popular. They're talking about resurfacing the tennis courts. From what I read, they fill the cracks and put AstroTurf down? Is that what, because it was, the contract was given to, it looks like a turf company, right?
It's called Field Turf.
Field Turf.
Correct. That's just the vendor's name, but they do a number of...
So it's going to be the same application as they have for the tennis courts?
I believe it's the same surface.
Something
Yes.
similar? Okay.
Any other members of council wishing to comment or question on 3H? All right, then we will go ahead and open it up to the public.
Q&A session has started.
Okay. What's the last four digits? All right, we will talk to the caller on 6850. We welcome, Stacy? You're live. Are you there? Bianca, all right, can you just, I'm sorry, can you give us your name and your address, please?
Joe Bianco, 321 Atlantic.
Thank you.
I was going to ask about the context for the conversion of the criminal courts, but I did get a little information previously where it said the other one that was speaking, I guess the other half of the courts, they want to just convert some of the tennis courts, so there's some additional pickleball courts.
Well, these are,
I just,
sorry, Joe, go ahead.
you know, I was listening in tonight because I was having a comment later on, but in reference to this, I saw this and, you know, my taxes are going to go up because of the mayor, and there were all these, you know, angles that were trying to cut. To me, this is low-hanging fruit, but this isn't a necessity.
Well, you're
$37,000.
right. Pickleball courts are not a necessity. It actually is a game that is rising in popularity, and this is actually a revenue generator for the township. So we are going to be generating revenue, we anticipate, from the use of these pickleball courts.
What's the anticipation?
Kathy, do you anticipate, do you have an estimate of what type of revenue we'd be looking at from the pickleball courts?
I don't even think I could offer a guess. I'd
Yeah.
have to look into that. I'd be happy to try to answer that for our next meeting.
It's new.
But I wanted to remind you also that this is coming from a capital ordinance that's already been funded, so it's no additional cost than over what we're already anticipating in our debt service. So this is a project that's already been funded, along with all of the others in that funded resolution of approximately $6 million, because these were all from prior capital projects that we either did for less money or we didn't do them. Our plans changed, and so we canceled those and reallocated it to some of the items that are more necessary. So because it's already funded, we won't have to go out for additional funding this year for any of the capital projects that we're doing.
So Joe, just to translate, taxes are going up this year, that is true. It's not because of the pickleball courts, though.
No, I understand there's more involved, but it's like,
Well,
look at things. To me, this is low-hanging fruit, and I understand that there's money set aside for this, but, you know, why not table this, or, you know?
Well, the reason is, I was just going to kind of give you a simpler explanation of what the business administrator just said. The fact is, the township borrowed this money a couple of years ago, before this mayor was even in office. The township borrowed this money, never used it for its intended purpose. So in a sense, it's even worse to borrow money, not use it, pay interest on it, and not even get any benefit from it. So we're taking the money, we're allocating it to a use that's going to benefit the residents of the community without having to borrow any additional money. And by the way, it doesn't add a penny to the general budget. So this isn't a reason that taxes are going up. This is in our capital budget, which is different from our general budget.
Understood with respect to that point. It just seems that the taxpayer, the loan and the short rate always gets stuck with this management on one level or another. And to me, again, if there was some more detail as to what was potentially generated, that's sure. But there's I don't know, if it's from a loan, is that loan paid?
No, we're paying the debt now. We're currently making payments on the loan.
Having $137,000 to put back to it, it would take a lot of interest on it.
It's not that simple, because you bond, what a township does when we borrow money, it's not like having a home mortgage where you can just pay down your principal and then save on interest. It's a little more static. So we have a bond, it may be a 10-year bond. Usually those bonds can't be prepaid when we issue them, unless you specifically issue a bond with a call option, which gives you the ability to prepay it early, which we usually wouldn't do because it would cost us more in interest to have that option. So it's actually, normally you're going to borrow money, you're going to use it for the intended purpose. In this case, we found the money when the new mayor came in. He did an inventory of all the money that had been borrowed. He found a number of items where the money had been borrowed but not used for its intended purpose, and we're reallocating. We're able to reallocate this year to various capital projects without having to borrow a single additional penny. So I have to commend the mayor, actually, on this point.
That is positive. And this is just something that, like I said, I saw and made me scratch my head.
I understand. Hey, Joe. Hey, Joe, you're out of time. We can bring you back for 2 more minutes on the back end. Okay, thanks for your comment.
So that's it.
Okay. Hi, Terry.
Hi, guys. First of all, I want to...
Hey, Terry, can you go ahead and give us your name and address before you get started, please?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Terry Piper from New Jersey. And I'd like to first apologize because I got all the way to hear all of the discussion. So I'm really just asking a question that you may have already answered, and I do apologize for that. I was just wondering, are there any items in the capital budget that are going to go to the animal shelter? Or is any of those money going to be used on the animal shelter?
We're not on that ordinance. We're only talking about pickleball courts right now.
Oh, okay. I apologize. I didn't hear all of it.
That's okay.
Talking about 6 million or whatever it was. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other members of the public? Okay. So seeing no members of the public, no additional members of the public wishing to comment, I will entertain a motion.
Council President, I'll make a motion to close public comment and move on Resolution 3H.
I'll second that.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Reparo?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. 3J is a resolution authorizing a 1-year contract for online hosting of tax lien sales with realauction.com LLC, in the amount of $90,000.
Any members of council wishing to comment or ask a question?
Just clarification, Council President, it's up to 90,000, right?
I just have 90,000. Is that correct, Al?
Not to exceed.
Did not to exceed.
Not to exceed.
That's what I just want to clarify. So,
Maximum cost of 90,000.
right, so if we have less listings, we're not spending that.
It's $15 per property, is that that's the fee, correct?
Yes.
So $15.
Oh, no,
up to
I think,
90,000.
honestly, I mean, that's great, I'm sure return on investment there. I just want to clarify, that wasn't guaranteed we're spending 90,000, it's just up to, yeah.
Good. And seeing no other comments or questions at this time from council, let's go ahead and open it to the public on 3J, Resolution 3J only.
Q&A session has started.
Appears no members of the public wish to comment, so I will entertain a motion on 3J.
Mr. President, I make a motion to close the public comment and move Resolution 3J.
I'll second that.
Q&A session is over.
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Reparo?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. 3K is a resolution approving first and final change order to contract 19-262 awarded to Earl Asphalt of the 2017 Capitol Road project for improvements to Hughes Drive. This is for Edinburgh Road to Flock Road. This is a decrease in the contract of $113,247.97.
It's rare that we see it.
It's the second one on the agenda.
Yeah.
On the consent.
That'd be my question for Director Duma, is, I mean, this is good, $113,000 back in the coffers, but if you don't mind, how's that happen? I mean, what caused that? I mean, obviously, they had original bid, original contract price. Is this something that we had a problem with the contractor himself, or his performance, or was this stuff that wasn't needed to be completed?
Well, Councilman, there's 4 reasons why we're getting this credit. That after the milling operation, that's the operation where you remove the existing road, it was determined that the existing stabilized base was sound and did not have to be removed and replaced. The additional surface course may be needed for leveling to improve ride stability was not needed because the road was in such good shape. There's a decrease in the price index for the paving. And finally, concrete curbs and walk. It was anticipated that additional concrete curbs and walk were going to be needed. However, they were not. All that added up to that net decrease of $113,247.97. That was a 20% savings on the job.
So my question would be this, I guess, is that through the due diligence of our inspectors? Because naturally, I would imagine Earl wouldn't be coming forward saying, hey, I got a discount, because of work that didn't need to be done. So once the milling was done, I'm sure that our inspectors go out and they expect the condition of the road and determine that it's not needed, and through consultation with the contractor, they deem that?
That's correct. If you remember earlier in the year, Chris Markley, Director of Public Works, and myself came in front of you for a road rating system. That was to free up some more time for these inspectors. I give the Public Works inspectors a lot of credit here. My department went out, did some core drillings, which found out this stuff. Contractors, no matter who they are, need to be watched and held to the letter of the law. And in this case, both our departments did a good job.
Great job, thank you.
That's great.
Yep.
It's nice work by our inspectors. So if nobody else has any comment at this time, we'll go ahead and open it up to the public on 3K.
Q&A session has started.
We'll give it just a moment for any members of the public wishing to comment on Resolution 3K only. All right, it appears no members of the public wish to comment on 3K, so I'll entertain a motion.
Council President, I'll close the public comment portion and move Resolution 3K.
I second that motion.
Q&A session is over.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Reparo?
Yes.
Mr. Todd?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. 3L is a resolution authorizing the proper officials of the Township of Hamilton to execute a grant application and authorizing execution of associated agreement with the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development to apply for the 46th Program 2020 entitlement, the amount of $677,718, reprogram funds in the amount of $96,357, for total grant funds equaling $774,075.
And this is, Kathy, an authorization for us to apply. For the grants? That's all we're really doing here.
Yes, this is common, what you have to do. It's probably an annual thing when you go through and have to approve an application to go out for the federal funding.
Okay. Anybody got anything? We'll go ahead and open it up to the public.
Q&A session has started.
And we're going to give the public just a moment to, if they wish to comment on 3L. Sounds like the elevator's working.
Read my mind.
And with that, it appears no members of the public wish to comment, so I'll entertain a motion.
Yes, Council President, I move that we close the public portion comment and move on 3L.
I'll second the motion.
Q&A session is over.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Reparo?
Yes.
Mr. Todd?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. 3M is a resolution determining that the property identified as Block 2154, Lot 12.01, be designated as a non-condemnation redevelopment area in accordance with the local redevelopment and housing law known as NJSA 40A:12A-1, etc., and authorizing the preparation of a redevelopment plan.
Anybody have any questions or comments on, any members of council, any questions or comments on Resolution 3M?
Council President, I just had a question about, being that it was a former landfill, I was just curious, what types of redevelopment could be put there?
This is the solar farm,
Essentially, yes.
Essentially.
Okay. All right.
prospective solar farm.
Perspective solar farm, yes.
Thank you, Alyssa.
Yeah, not too many uses, so this
Yeah,
is a
that's
great
right.
use
Yeah.
for this particular property. Okay, so seeing no other comments from council, we'll go ahead and open it up to the public.
Session has started.
It appears no members of the public wish to comment, so I'll entertain a motion regarding 3M.
Council President, I'll move to close public comment and move on Resolution 3M.
I'll second it.
Q&A session is over.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips? Yes. Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Reparo?
Yes.
Mr. Todd?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. 3N is a resolution authorizing the award of a non-fair and open contract to Sanofi Pasteur for the purchase of influenza vaccines for the Department of Health, the amount of $60,378.78.
Kathy, just because of the language here, non-fair, would you just give us an explanation of what we're doing?
Yes, this is our annual purchase of the immunizations for our flu clinic that we do. We try to go back to the state contract vendor that we always use, but they were completely out of stock of the vaccine that we needed, so we had to look at other vendors. So that's the reason for having to go to a non-fair and open. And this, the cost of this is comparable to what we paid in the past. It might be a slight uptick on the cost because, again, the supply, I mean, it's in heavy demand this year, again, as we've seen in other years. And so the cost generally goes up a little bit based on that. But other than that, we had to make sure that we secured a stock of it this year. We actually ordered a little bit less than last year, because we had enough last year that we didn't use all of it, so we returned it, and they're trying to take a little bit less so that we don't have to return any this year.
And just to take a step back from that, thank you for that explanation, but just to kind of give a little bit more background, the township has an annual flu vaccine program, so we need these supplies every year. Apparently, with the COVID-19 crisis, there's heightened awareness and heightened demand, even though this vaccine has nothing to do with COVID-19. Is that a fair explanation?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. So with that, unless anybody on council has any question or comment, we'll go ahead and open it up to the public.
Q&A session has started.
All right, and the line is open for any members of the public wishing to comment on Resolution 3N only. It appears that no members of the public wish to comment on Resolution 3N, so I will entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I make a motion to close the public comment portion and move Resolution 3N.
I'll second that.
Q&A session is over.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Reparo?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. 3O is a resolution approving second and final extension to shared contract 17-127 for vehicle collision repair and painting services with Ed and Guy's Auto Body, Lucky's Auto Body Repair, and Rico's Auto Body in the amount of $55,000 shared maximum with a percentage discount on parts and hourly labor rates.
When we say shared contract, it's because we have multiple vendors that we can use. Everybody good? Anybody have a question or comment?
Council President Kathy, I know we talked earlier, we were able to, I saw that 2 out of the 3 garages that we're contracted with are not in Hamilton. Were we able to see, only 1 is in Hamilton?
That's correct, but this was part of a bid process, and so each of these 3 vendors bid, and as I said, we're allowed to kind of pool the vendors for this type of thing, which we did. So we have the choice under the contract to go to any of the 3 vendors.
So it looks like it'll go up for bid again in 2021.
Right, I think this is the last extension, right?
Okay, thank you.
And with that, we will go ahead and open it up to the public on 3O.
Q&A session has started.
And the line is open to any members of the public wishing to comment on Resolution 3O. Seeing none, I will entertain a motion.
Council President. Council President, I'll close the public comment portion and move Resolution 3O.
I second the motion.
Q&A session is over.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips? Yes. Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Reparo?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. 3P is a resolution authorizing an agreement with AmeriHealth in connection with the administration of health insurance for municipal employees/retirees for the term July 1, 2020 to June 30th, 2021, the amount of $14,859,509.
Any members of council wishing to comment?
So this is no change, right, from last year?
That's correct. This was no increase in this premium rate.
That's great. You know, in our budget documents, we talked about a rising cost. So how does that square with the fact that there's no change in our rate?
So there's no change in this, which is the medical portion of the health insurance that we offer, but some of the other insurances, the premiums went up. So we did see a slight uptick in that budget line item. But this is the biggest cost of our insurance, the medical portion of it, the health insurance. So, this was nice that the rate stayed flat.
Okay. Yeah, that's great.
Which in today's world, averages anywhere from probably 7 to 10%. So that's a pretty good number. How long we had AmeriHealth?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Anybody?
Quite a few years now.
Been several.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I guess administration looks for upticks as far as if premiums start rising, the discounts that you get through AmeriHealth on the billing portion of it. I guess once they see changes in that, they bring in other people to give, compare, prices.
We try to shop it even every year, even when we want to go. And I think initially we got a proposal that was higher from them, and we, negotiated that down. That happened before I got here, so I say we very fluidly there. But we, especially in our personnel office in HR. So I think they did a lot of discussions and negotiations back and forth, and they came back with the flat amount.
Our mayor has proven to be a good
Thank you.
negotiator
He is
in the
too.
past.
Yep.
I know that there was sentiment this year too to maintain continuity in coverage, especially in the middle of a health crisis, in case people had certain doctors. We want for all of the families of all our employees to be able to continue to see the same doctors throughout all this. But with that, unless anybody else on council has anything, we will open it to the public.
Q&A session has started.
So the line is open for members of the public wishing to comment on Resolution 3P. It appears no members of the public wish to comment, so I will entertain a motion.
Council President, I move to close the public comment portion of this and move on Resolution 3P.
Second the motion?
Q&A session is over.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Reparo?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. 3Q is a resolution authorizing extension number 1 to contract 17-316 with Edward H. Cray, Inc. for the annual traffic signal maintenance and emergency repair. This is in the amount of $53,000 maximum.
Any members of council wishing to comment on 3Q? Seeing none, let's open it up to the public.
Q&A session has started.
All right, and it appears that no members of the public wish to comment.
Close public comment and move on Resolution 3Q.
I'll second that.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Reparo?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. 3S is a resolution, 3R was removed from the agenda as the title was duplicated from the consent agenda. 3S is a resolution authorizing assignment of a certain tax sales certificate held by the Township of Hamilton pursuant to NJSA 54:5-1112 at SEC for Block 2680, Lot 35. This is for Van Horn Avenue.
Any members of the public wishing to comment? Any members of council? Sorry. Any members of the council wishing to comment? Seeing none, let's go ahead and open it up to the public. And it appears that no members of the public wish to comment, so I'll entertain a motion to close public comment.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to close the public comment portion and move Resolution 3S.
I'll second that.
Q&A session is over.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Carabelli? Ms.
Yes.
Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Reparo?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. 3T is a resolution authorizing assignment of a certain tax sale certificate held by the Township of Hamilton pursuant to NJSA 54:5-112 at SEC. This is for Block 2680, Lot 36, also in Van Horn Avenue.
Any members of the public, any members of council, any members of council have any comment? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and open it up to the public.
Q&A session has started.
And we'll give it just a moment for the public on Resolution 3T. Seeing no members of the public wishing to comment, I'll entertain a motion.
Council President, I'll close the public comment portion and move Resolution 3T.
I second the motion.
Q&A session is over.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Reparo?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. 3U is a resolution extending the grace period for the payment of third quarter 2020 property taxes, assessments, or other municipal liens or charges to August 17th, 2020.
And this is a late addition. We are extending the grace period for the taxpayers in light of all the ongoing uncertainty. The mayor asked us to put this on the agenda at the last minute, and I certainly wanted to accommodate his request in this instance. Did anybody have any comment? Any council members have any comment?
I just appreciate that grace period. I think it's helpful for a lot of people.
Let's go ahead and open it up to the public.
Q&A session has started.
And the line is open to the public. It appears that no members of the public wish to comment, and so I will entertain a motion.
Council President, I move we close the public comment portion and move on Resolution 3U.
Second the motion?
Q&A session is over.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Reparo?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. 3B is a resolution authorizing an agreement for professional services with New Gen Strategies and Solutions to conduct a comprehensive sewer rate study for the Township of Hamilton and the Township of Robbinsville.
And this is another last-minute addition. We are moving forward with the rate study of sewer rates that we've been talking about for some time. This was relatively last-minute addition. I know that there is coordination between Hamilton and Robbinsville that needed to happen in order for us to have resolutions choosing the same vendor between the two towns. So we appreciate the efforts of the administration members who have been working on this. Do any members of council,
So just add to that, this, I believe, was,
I'm sorry, Council President, I just failed to mention the amount of the contract, just for the listening public, the amount of $24,940 maximum.
which, well, I was just going to add to that, Madam Clerk, is that, which is half the cost of the overall cost to perform the rate study. And I also noticed that this was the lowest bid that we're awarding to this company. So, thank you, that's all.
so low bid, half the actual cost borne by Hamilton, the other half by Robbinsville. And if there are no further comments from council, we'll go ahead and open it up to the public.
Q&A session has started.
All right, the line is open for any members of the public wishing to comment on Resolution 3V, as in Victor. And we'll give the public just a moment. It doesn't appear that any members of the public are wishing to comment on this resolution, and therefore I will entertain a motion.
Council President, I'll close public comment and move on Resolution 3V.
I'll second that.
Q&A session is over.
Madam Clerk.
Mr. Paravelli?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips? Yes. Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Reparo?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. Moving on to ordinances. We have ordinance 4A, which is ordinance number 20-030, an ordinance amending and supplementing the code of the Township of Hamilton, New Jersey, Part 3, Land Use Legislation, Chapter 550, Land Development, Article 3, District Regulations, subsection 550-82. This is manufacturing and industrial districts. This is second reading and public hearing.
Oh, okay. All right, this is second reading. Any comment from council?
So I know we have Director Dumont here. I think this is great. This is just adding to the, I saw it was amending the ordinance to add repurposing used oils into biodegradable clean fuels. And I guess it's a company by the name of BioVert that will be taking over that particular site.
It's actually used cooking oil. So restaurants, when they're done with their cooking oil, usually take it to a landfill and dump it. So we have a company that's interested in moving into the Siemens De La Val site.
Great.
That would convert their cooking oil into biodiesel fuel. The ordinance is very strange the way it's written. It says processing of food oil is not allowed. So we're asking for this change to be made this way. The company is a minority-owned business. Is talking about hiring 150 people the first year, and, you know, we're going to talk about hiring Hamilton residents. Some minor renovation would need to be done to the De La Val. We're going to add a rail line into the site, and we think it's a great business here for our town.
And I don't know, this technology has been around for a while. I don't know that many have successfully converted it to a larger scale, industrial-sized operation yet.
Well, this company actually has a facility in Las Vegas, Nevada, and in California. This is their first venture, even though they're East Coast based. This is their first venture on the East Coast. We did a lot of marketing to try to get them here. The deal was not sealed yet, but this ordinance is one of the obstacles in getting them here. I want to be able to...
Passing this ordinance will be conducive to getting them here.
That is correct.
So I think council, speaking for myself, I'm certainly favorable to helping to attract, doing our part to attract these types of jobs, especially with clean energy of this sort. So unless anybody else on council has any comments?
Well, this is just the first piece of our plan for the East State Street area. We received good news that Broadway Moving is going to move into the corner of East State and Nottingham Way. We're in the process of taking down the Near Power Plant, which is an old rubber plant, it's probably our most contaminated site in Hamilton Township. So the mayor's put together a good plan for developing that whole area. But this is the one key component to it.
Great. So with that, we will go ahead and open it up to the public. All right, so the line is open for any members of the public wishing to comment on ordinance 4A 20-030. We'll give just a moment for anyone wishing to comment. And it appears that no members of the public wish to comment on ordinance 4A 20-030. So I will entertain a motion.
Council President, I'll make a motion to close the public comment portion and move to adopt on second reading ordinance number 20-030.
I'll second the motion.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Caravelli?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Reparo?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes, and can we, I'll entertain a motion for a quick recess. I need a motion. Motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay, all right. Madam Clerk, do we need to call a roll on that?
No.
All right, we're recessed.
No, the quarter.
Recorder's,
Don't do it. It'll be, the next 10 years, I'll be... All right, 3, 2, 1. All right, everyone, thank you. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, everyone. We're back from a brief recess, and we are now on ordinance 4B, Madam Clerk.
Ordinance 4B is known as 20-033. Are you good? I'm sorry. 20-033, an ordinance of the Township of Hamilton and the County of Mercer, New Jersey, reappropriating $4,245,000 of proceeds of obligations not needed for their original purposes. This is second reading and public hearing.
No. This is the correct.
I'm sorry, I'll make a correction to the dollar amount,
Yes, we changed
which
it.
is $4,578,000. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. When did they?
Yes. Okay. So with that, again, this is money that was already borrowed. We are authorizing the administration, because it was not used for its original purpose, we are within certain limitations, reauthorizing the use of this money. So money that's already borrowed, it's not new borrowing, and it does have to stay within the departments for which it was originally allocated, so it will be staying close to the original purpose, but reused in a manner more in line with the current needs of the township. So with that, do we have any questions or comments from members of council? Seeing no questions or comments from council at this time, let's go ahead and open it up to the public.
Q&A session has started.
All right, and the line is open for the residents who want to make any questions or comments on 4B. And we have a caller. Terry, go ahead.
Hi, this is Carrie Piper from New Jersey, and I guess this is where I should answer this question that I'm came in on the last one about, is there any of that that's going to, capital that's going to the animal shelter?
This is money going back into the
Well, no, it's being reappropriated to the, departments, so let's see.
Council
Yeah.
President, if you don't mind, yeah, I believe it's under,
There are 12,000 for laptops for, both PHNs and ACOs. What's PHN?
you're looking at that.
Anybody know what PHN is short for?
No, but I did see money going into the animal shelter kennels for epoxy.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Oh, good,
Yeah.
so we're getting the epoxy
Yes, that's,
also from this to, make the, to be more compliant with the law, actually, for cleaning purposes. We're gonna be able to seal up those floors with that purchase. Let's see. Animal control noise meter is another item, and then, a new truck, new ACO truck. And that's it, Terry. Those are the items pertaining to the health. I'm sorry?
The epoxy for the old kennel, is the epoxy for the space?
I believe so, yes. Yes, I'm getting yeses all around. 100% yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any other members of the, all right, so it appears that no other members of the public wish to comment on 4B. So I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, Council President, to close public comment and move ordinance 20-033.
I'll second it.
Q&A session is over.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Reparo?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. Council President, on the next ordinance, 20-034, I'm sorry, Kevin, sorry, Keith, 4C.
No. Did you just do that? Keith, remember this moment. So, Eileen, go ahead.
Council President, on your agenda, and for the audience members, as it appears as 4C 20-034, the title is incorrect, and I'm going to read the correct title now. This was, the correct title was on the first reading and introduction agenda correctly. It's just that this was just a minor error, so everything else is in compliance. So 4C is ordinance 20-034, which is an ordinance of the Township of Hamilton and the County of Mercer, New Jersey, providing for capital improvements and related expenses in and for the Township of Hamilton and appropriating $7,605,000 therefore, including 2 expected grants in the amounts of $500,000 and $545,000 from the state of New Jersey, and funding provided from the capital surplus account of the General Capital Fund in the amount of $6,560,000 to finance the same.
Okay. And let's see, the difference is, there was, it was 6.5, nope, that's the same. All right, so let's see, the differences are that the amount of the ordinance was not specified in the public document, and the grants were not mentioned in the public document. So those are the additional information items that you wanted to provide to the public, Madam Clerk? Yes.
Yes.
Here's, that's the case, okay. Now, once again, this is a reallocation of money that's already been borrowed. I don't see any, reallocations to the animal shelter on this ordinance. But that said, do any members of council wish to?
Just a quick question, Council President. As far as, on the grants, these 2 expected grants, are these grants that were applied for last year, or, what's the process with that? I'm just trying to make sure I'm familiar with it myself.
So the grants are usually applied for every year.
Right.
They're the DOT grants, so they're for our road project. But again, I think these grants were approved last year when we were doing our budget plan, but we never did an ordinance for them, so now they're being included.
Usually these amounts, when you get an amount like this, 500 and 545,000, is that what the amount that you applied for, or it's a higher amount and this is what they gave you?
I think they determine the amount based on the cost of the project, the estimated cost of the road improvement.
Okay, so it's a certain percentage then they give you.
I don't know what their formula is, but
Okay.
yes.
All right, thank you, Ken.
Okay. So unless any other council members have any questions or comments, we are going to go ahead and open it up to the public.
Q&A session has started.
All right, and the line is open to members of the public wishing to comment on ordinance 4C 20-034. Again, this is a reallocation of money already borrowed. And it appears that no members of the public wish to comment, so I will entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I will make a motion to close the public hearing and adopt ordinance number 20-034
Yep.
on second reading.
I'll second that.
Sorry about that.
Q&A session is over.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Reparo?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. 4D is ordinance 20-035, an ordinance of the Township of Hamilton and the County of Mercer, New Jersey, amending ordinance number 19-044, adopted September 17, 2019, entitled, quote, "An ordinance of the Township of Hamilton and the County of Mercer, New Jersey, providing for the special assessment of a portion of the costs relating to lead service line replacements and approving the execution of a shared services agreement in connection therewith," end quote. This is second reading and public hearing.
Now, is this related to, the city is actually taking on a little bit more of the responsibility here? Our township attorney might be able to shed light for us.
It's not so much that they're taking on additional responsibility, they're living up to the responsibility that they agreed to.
Thank you for that clarification. So, with that, do any members of the public, and this is the ongoing lead line replacement, which has been going woefully slowly, but, any members of council wish to comment on this ordinance? Seeing none, let's open it to the public.
Q&A session has started.
The line is open to the public on ordinance 20-035. We'll give just a moment. And it appears that no members of the public are wishing to comment on ordinance 20-035, so I will entertain a motion.
Council President, I'll close the public comment portion and make a motion to adopt 20-036 on second reading.
Are we on, we're on,
Or 35, I'm sorry, 35.
all right.
I had 36.
Second motion.
Q&A session is over.
And Madam Clerk?
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips? Yes. Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Reparo?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. 4E is ordinance 20-036, an ordinance amending and supplementing the Code of the Township of Hamilton, New Jersey, Chapter 485, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 3, Traffic Regulations, subsection 485-37, Bus Stops. This is first reading and introduction.
And we are establishing bus stops on Route 130 with this ordinance. And it appears that no members of council wish to comment on this, so let's go ahead and open it up to the public.
It's the first reading,
First reading.
Mr. Council President.
Scratch that, we will not be opening it up to the public. I'll entertain a motion.
Council President, I moved, for first reading of ordinance number 20-036.
Second?
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips? Yes. Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Reparo?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. 4F is ordinance 20-037, an ordinance amending and supplementing an ordinance fixing the salaries and other compensation of the officials and employees of the Township of Hamilton in the County of Mercer and State of New Jersey. This is for the Director of Finance / Chief Financial Officer. This is first reading and introduction.
Do I have a motion?
Yes, I'll make a motion, Council President, on first reading and introduction of ordinance 20-037.
I'll second it.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Reparo?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. 4G is 20-038, an ordinance amending and supplementing the Code of the Township of Hamilton, New Jersey, Part 2, General Legislation, Chapter 485, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 2, Parking, subsection 485-9, parking prohibited at all times on certain streets. This is along Mead Drive, and Article 3, Traffic Regulations, subsection 485-24, one-way streets. This is for Lawton Avenue and Walker Avenue. This is first reading and introduction.
I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I make a motion to introduce ordinance number 20-038 on first reading.
I'll second that.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips? Yes. Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Reparo?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. 4H is toward ordinance 20-039, an ordinance amending and supplementing the Code of the Township of Hamilton, New Jersey, Chapter 485, Vehicles and Traffic, and Article 2, Parking, subsection 485-19, handicap parking. This is to repeal a space established at 1424 Hamilton Avenue by ordinance number 13-034. This is first reading and introduction.
Do I have a motion?
Council President, I'll make a motion to introduce on first reading 20-039.
I second the motion.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips? Yes. Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Reparo?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Ordinance passes 5-0. We now move on to the calendar year 2020 municipal budget. Resolution,
Oh, we already passed for,
correct.
okay.
Resolution 5A is a resolution authorizing the municipal clerk to read the calendar year 2020 municipal budget by title only.
Do I need to have comment and a public hearing on that?
Yes, you can. Yes, sir.
Okay. Any members of council wishing to comment? Seeing no one wishing to comment, I will open it up to the public on Resolution 5A.
Q&A session has started.
Line is open for any members of the public wishing to comment on a resolution authorizing the municipal clerk to read the calendar year 2020 municipal budget resolution by title only. Seeing no members of the public wishing to comment, I will entertain a motion.
Council President, I'll make a motion on resolution 5A.
I'll second it.
Q&A session is over.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Reparo?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. Be it resolved by the council members of the Township of Hamilton, County of Mercer, that the budget hereinbefore set forth is hereby adopted and shall constitute an appropriation for the purposes stated of the sums therein set forth as appropriations and authorization of the amount of $71,408,677.79 for municipal purposes, $3,039,997 for the minimum library tax. Under general revenues, surplus anticipated, $3,500,000. Miscellaneous revenues anticipated, $29,353,828.10. Receipts from delinquent taxes, $200,000. The amount to be raised by taxation for municipal purposes, $71,408,677.79. The amount to be raised by taxation for the minimum library tax is $3,039,997. Total revenues, $107,502,502.89. Under general appropriations, operating including, within caps, operations including contingent, $80,387,830.47. Deferred charges and statutory expenditures for municipal, $9,830,246.13. Excluded from caps under operations, total operations excluded from caps, $5,746,762.20. Municipal debt service, $10,648,387. Deferred charges for municipal, $187,687.17. The reserve for uncollected taxes, $701,589.92. Total appropriations, $107,502,502.89. That does it, Council President.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And so, do we move to Resolution 5B at this point? Or,
Yes.
okay.
Correct.
So we do A and B, and then we do,
Did you hold a public hearing yet on that introduced budget? So that's really, and as a point of order, you end up, the budget that you introduced at the last meeting, you will now hold a public hearing on that. That's the budget that the clerk just read by title.
okay.
So if you do the public hearing on the budget, and then we'll have a resolution on the amendments. The amendments don't require a public hearing. And then you can do the adoption if you so choose after that.
Okay. So we are going to have the public hearing on the budget at this time. This year, when constructing the budget, the new administration had to deal with a couple of factors. One, an overestimation by the previous administration of the amount of money that would be available in surplus and trust funds. And on top of that, the loss of revenue that came as a result of the COVID-19 national health emergency. The mayor and his team worked very hard to net out $500,000 in cuts from the budget. This is despite unavoidable increases in mandatory costs, such as debt service, garbage collection and recycling, retirement payouts that nearly doubled, by the way, and insurance costs. I'm proud that this budget includes $10.8 million in general capital improvement projects without any additional borrowing for that purpose. I'd like to thank all of the township employees, and really every single township employee this year, for the financial sacrifices that they have made to pitch into getting us to this budget. Our workers this year have really shared in the burden with our taxpayers. I'd like to thank all of our employees for continuing to work through very difficult circumstances to provide the needed services to all our residents under extremely difficult circumstances this year. It is true that taxes are going up. They're not going up by as much as we anticipated they may when we started this process. And that's, and they're not going up without spending cuts, without a halt to additional borrowing, and sacrifices and hard work from our employees. We did this budget, this administration and this mayor put this budget together without a permanent CFO in place. And not only did we not have a permanent CFO working throughout this budget process, but we were not even allowed to interview for that position throughout this process. So I'm especially thankful to our interim CFO for all the work that he did for us throughout the first half of the year. I'd like to thank our business administrator Kathy Manzo for the work that she's done. Thankfully, she is a certified CFO and has been pulling double duty. I'd especially like to thank John Calderon for all of your work, for stepping up this year, and all the help that you've given us in getting our arms around this budget. So with that, I want to open it up to any members of council who want to comment first, and then we'll open it up to the public. So if nobody wants to comment at this time, we can go ahead and start with public comment, and then or did you have anything, Councilman?
I'd just like to comment quickly. I know there's a, tax increase. I don't think anybody ever wants to raise taxes, but with the budget came in, the directors came in with as tight a budget as they could. There was a lot of cuts made by each of the departments, and, unfortunately, there is a small tax increase because of the hole that we faced. And, I commend the mayor and his staff, for putting together the budget they did and, pulling the employees together. And I think it took a team effort.
I'll just echo with what our council president said, and also Councilman Papero mentioned. I'm pretty diligent when it comes to taking a look at this, the budget, and over the last 3 years. This budget definitely was a lean one. Listen, I don't like the fact that, taxes are going up. But I think that this will put us on sound financial footing going forward. And I think that each of the department directors, along with the employees here in the township, did a yeoman's job of making some sacrifices, whether through that furlough process or also just taking a second look at your department's budget and making specific cuts as it pertains to that budget. Thank you, Kathy, for all you did, and I know Al also deserves some praise for his work in finding, finding some capital expenditures that were out there, and the work of cleaning things up financially in our township. So that's, I just wanted to say that this is going to put us, I think, in strong financial footing moving forward, and I think that the future is very bright. So, thank you.
I guess while we're at it, might as well, I'll try and make this brief, Council President. Echoing on what yourself and two other council members said regarding the budget, I'd like to just say, again, I don't think anybody envisions serving the township in any position, especially on council, and wants to raise taxes by any means. But I want to thank the mayor, the administration, all the directors that met with us to go over the budget, to come up with the best solutions that we can so we can present this to the public. But most of all, like the other council members said, is our employees. Besides the directors and the administrators, our employees made sacrifices, whether it's through the furloughs or holding any potential raises that they were to incur this year. They held the line on the contract, and a lot has to be said for that, and also to the sacrifices our residents are making too. So, thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman.
Council President, I think,
a lot of very good stuff that I would have said. But again, this was a very, very lean budget that the mayor and his administration, sorry. This is a very lean budget that the mayor put together. And like all of the council members have said, the meeting with the departments, they did everything that they could. Again, like, Councilman Whalen said, we don't look forward to this, but I also agree with Councilman Carabelli. This is going to put us in a much better place moving forward, and I think I see a brighter future for Hamilton as well, based on this.
Thank you. So with that, let's open it to the public.
Q&A session has started.
And the line is open to the public. Do we have anybody in the queue?
Not yet. There you go. 0959, Robert.
Okay, we're going to open it, we're going to open the line to extension 0959.
Yes, good evening. My name is Bob McQueen from 88 Math Avenue in Hamilton. Just a question on the operating budget. I am chief of the Nottingham Volunteer Ambulance Squad, and typically the township has been able to give us a donation every year. We're just inquiring if that donation is included in this operating budget. We are spending a lot of money on PPE and supplies during this COVID response.
Well, first of all, Bob, thank you for your service to the community. And yes, the allocation is included in the operating budget.
We thank the administration of Hamilton for the support and are proud to serve the residents and the township of Hamilton during this pandemic, and we appreciate your financial support. So thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thanks, Bob.
Bianco, 6850 again.
Mr. Bianco.
Hello.
Hi, go ahead.
Hi. Just a quick question. This budget goes into effect when exactly?
Goes into effect immediately.
It's for this calendar year.
And the furloughs?
For this calendar year.
So the budget is for the, oh, I'm sorry.
What's the question?
How does this impact the furloughs, is this question?
So to answer his first question, the budget is for the entire calendar year of 2020, January through December. And so, and as far as the furloughs, we've furloughed employees for a certain period of time, and it ended up being 8 weeks. It started on June 1st, and it will end at the end of this week, June 25th. And so that would have been 8 weeks of furloughs for a number of our employees that reduced their work time by 40% in order to save during this pandemic.
And that had more to do with compensation for those furloughed employees that were coming from other bodies of government than any actions that we're taking tonight, as far as the time frame is concerned.
Correct.
That was kind of dictated by, was it state legislation?
Yeah, it's actually the federal legislation and the way that the state administers it.
That's what I was thinking of.
There were furloughs that happened previous to June.
It happened, the furlough happened previous to June?
And
Yeah.
so all of our part-time positions were furloughed right in the beginning of when we closed to the public, and
And that's indefinite.
that's indefinite, correct. So we have brought back a couple of employees that really needed to address some of our seasonal increases as we opened a few places. So we brought back a few part-time positions, but other than that, the rest of the part-time positions will be furloughed indefinitely.
So part-time positions are furloughed indefinitely, but if you increase the furlough and our full-time employees, that would end.
Yeah, the full-time employee furloughs end this week.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. And we'll go to the next caller.
Q&A, Q is clear.
Okay. All right, we're going to just give it a moment. And it appears that no other members of the public wish to comment, so I will...
The motion to close the public hearing.
So I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Mr. President, I make a motion to close the public hearing on Resolution 5A.
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 It's 5A. It's 5A.
Because the amendments are 5B, yeah. I'll second that.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Ms. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Reparo?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Passes 5-0 to close the public hearing. 5B is a resolution authorizing amendment to the calendar year 2020 current municipal budget in the amount of negative $115,350.
Now, that is different from the number, the final number, actually.
Right, so as you went through your budget workshops and thoroughly reviewed all of the line items, we had several changes that you recommended and made to the budget. Then over the last week, we've found another large adjustment that actually came as a result of the review that the State Division of Local Government Services does on our budget. They had noticed that we had $110,000 worth of assessment debt service that was budgeted in there that should be and can be covered by the assessment trust. So we actually made that as part of the amendment to remove it out of our current fund budget and set it up in our assessment trust budget. So it's still debt service that we owe, but it's covered by amounts that we have in our assessment trust. So we were actually allowed to, we were able to reduce the budget by that $110,000 along with all of the adjustments that you made. And then, and the offset to that was using less of our surplus, which we knew was, is something that we want to try to retain as much as we can. So that was the offset there. One of the increases that I think you might want some discussion on was, or amendments, was an increase that we added $20,000 for, some professional services that I think you might, want to have some discussion on if you, at this point.
And Director Dumont, thank you for coming back. Did you want to, so I appreciate you coming back to comment on this just because it's something that was added after the workshops, so we didn't have a chance to discuss this during the workshops. But this is pertaining to the consultant that you are hiring to assist the township with the redevelopment of certain property. Do you want to?
Well, this is for the old Congolium site. This is across from the train station. We've begun the process of redeveloping that site. So even though that area is under a old redevelopment plan, we decided to, we wanted to update it and have a current redevelopment plan. So we did not have the money in our budget for a consultant for that project, so we're asking for $20,000 to be added to the budget to hire a consultant, CME, who's a first-class consulting company, has worked with New Jersey Transit on a number of projects, and since New Jersey Transit's our neighbor right across the street, they're going to be involved in this discussion too. So we're asking council to give us that money. This is probably the most valuable piece of property in our town. And we only have one chance to develop it and develop it the right way. So we want to bring CME on board, and we're asking for your agreement tonight.
And, you know, I wholeheartedly support that. I do think that this is the most important redevelopment project in the entire township, most potentially impactful on the quality of life of our residents, and it's important that we do this the right way. So I appreciate that you want to take this step. to bring in a consultant to help us get the best possible outcome for our community, for our residents. It is a great piece of property directly across the street from our train station. And that direct access to the highway as well. So it doesn't get much better than that from a redevelopment standpoint. And I appreciate you coming in to give that explanation.
Time is of the essence here because that area is zoned for warehouses. We've been approached by 3 developers who would like to build warehouses there. We don't believe, the administration doesn't believe that that's a good fit for that area. And so we want to get somebody on board quickly to have a redevelopment plan and then eventually find a developer who fits our mold for what we want to see there.
Hey, Fred, just a quick question. So CME is going to be assisting your department with promoting the site, marketing the site, and looking to solicit different opportunities that may await us. I mean, is that the goal in this contract?
The process is going to be similar to what we did with solar farms, which is discussed today. So CME will prepare a presentation, it'll come in front of council. Council will send it to the planning board, and both will weigh in with their suggestions. But it's not going to be design. It's going to be what can go there, what improvements need to be done to the area, including traffic-wise. And then after all that was done, after council had their say into the process, then we would reach out to developers to figure out who shared the best model. A week doesn't go by, the developer doesn't contact the mayor or myself and want to discuss the project. So it's highly anticipated and delayed somewhat by COVID, but it's the right time now.
Councilman Wells?
Yes, Council President. I think it's probably the best $20,000 we're going to spend on that site. We all know that this is a site that is in definite need of redevelopment, but I think it's also a site that all the residents of Hamilton have their eyes on. You know, like Director Dumont just noted, you only get one shot at it. And we want to make sure that at the end of the day, whatever is developed there is going to best seat the needs of the township. So I support this.
Any other comments from members of council? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and open it up to the public for comment on Resolution 3B regarding the budget and the amendments to the budget. All right, and the line is open for any members of the public wishing to comment. Hi, Janice.
Hi. Okay. My interest in Linoleum.
Oh, Janice, can you go ahead and introduce yourself and give your address?
I'm sorry, boys, that you introduced me, you knew who I was. And that's correct, we're going to do it, you have to go down.
I understand that's the best neighborhood in Hamilton.
The best neighborhood in Hamilton, you got it.
All right, go ahead, Janice.
This person that you're getting to oversee what's going on in Linoleum, I sincerely hope the people in the Heights are going to be notified about this, and there'll be meetings, and you just don't make decisions without notifying us, because we're the ones that are suffering with the traffic.
I'll see to it that you're notified. We're in the very early stages. Things are conceptual. I think that the administration is being proactive here to bring in the type of development that would be the most beneficial to the largest number of residents. But we don't have a specific project there yet. But as things proceed, there will definitely be notification. I know that the Cornell Heights neighborhood is sensitive to any development along Sloan and Sweetbriar, and we want to be sensitive to that.
Okay, we greatly love you if you do that.
Thank you. All right, All right, thanks, Janice. Seeing no other members of the public wishing to comment, I will entertain a motion on Budget Resolution 5B.
Yes, Council President, I move to close the public portion of this and move on Resolution 5B.
I second.
Today's session is over.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Mr. Carabelli, Mrs. Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Reparo?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Passes 5-0. Resolution 5C is a resolution to adopt the calendar year 2020 municipal budget as amended.
All right, and that's with the consulting added in and all the other final changes made to the budget. And the most important point that I think we discussed is we are adding the reductions that council identified to the surplus. We decided that with the uncertain economic times that was the best, most responsible move for the long-term well-being of the residents in the township. So with that, I will entertain a motion on Resolution 5C.
Council, is that public? Yeah.
Madam Clerk, do we, Eileen,
Yes,
do
sir?
we open 5C to public comment?
Well,
I
I
have
don't
the
think so,
option.
because we really basically did it on 5, yes.
We did, I have the option. I see somebody wishing, I hear someone wishing to comment. Is that correct, Kevin? Oh. Okay. So, let's go ahead and briefly open it to public comment. And while we're doing that, if any council members wish to make any final comments regarding the budget, I think we've all kind of had our say. But we'll just give the public one last bite at the apple here to make a comment. That bell I heard, I thought was a member of the public queuing up. It was actually people leaving the meeting. All right. Well, it appears that no members of the public wish to comment, so I'll entertain a motion regarding 5C.
Council President, I'll close public comment and make a motion to pass Resolution 5C.
I'll second that.
Today's session is over.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Carabelli?
Yes.
Phillips?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Reparo?
Yes.
Mr. Ty?
Yes.
Passes 5-0.
All right, and at this time, we will open it up to, I want to thank everyone once again. But at this time, we'll go ahead and open it up to the public for general comment.
Today's session has started.
All right, so the line is open to members of the public wishing to comment. All right, go ahead, Terry.
Hi, Jensen, Kaiser from New Jersey. You know, on the agenda that went out earlier, there was something about, an ordinance regarding boys. And it's not on this agenda. I was wondering what happened to it.
Yeah, we, there were some questions about that. We're gonna tweak it, and bring it back next month in all probability.
Okay, so it's not that. Okay.
All right? Yep. Bianca. Bianca Jarrett?
Mr. Bianco.
Mr. Bianco, hello. Sorry, Mr. Bianco, go ahead.
So I first wanted to ask, if everyone is aware of massive backlog of firearm applications or revocations?
I am not aware of that. We do have our township attorney who is prepared to address it.
I'm going to send this over to my assistant township attorney who's been handling some of these matters.
Good evening. Yes, we are aware of it. There was a backup due to COVID. We are trying to get through the backlog. I have spoken with the Hamilton Township Police Department, trying to figure out a way that we can try to get through this backlog. We're still working on it.
Okay, it's not your code. Okay, there's a backlog regardless. Okay. You guys follow the person that is directly in charge of firearms. And to me, it seems like a, very convenient way to carry out a political agenda if there was one. Okay? By virtue of the fact that the ruling that is, literally the beginning and ending of every firearm application is furloughed, okay, because she turns out primarily attached to the Second Amendment, should be reason why she's not furloughed. Because everyone on the council took an oath to uphold the Constitution, and if we didn't have an egregious unconstitutional law in this state, which I understand, nobody that I'm speaking with tonight has the power to deal with that, but you do have the power to make sure that the process isn't as laborious as it has to be, and literally wait to have people months and months and months for something that, according to Title 258-3F, should be 30 days from when the application is submitted. My application was submitted in the beginning of March. I do approve. I still don't have my code, which I shouldn't even need according to the Constitution, but that's the order I.
Our business administrator just has a comment for you, Joe.
Right, and they've been working very hard to try to catch up on the backlog. We recognize that there's been a backlog and that they've exceeded that 30 days in many instances. It wasn't directly due to furloughing any employee. It was more about the number of applications that we've received this year is more than double what we've received just last year. So we just got many more than we expected. We've never had this many before, this many applications. So, the furlough of the one employee may have caused a portion of that, but under normal circumstances, the employee would have been able to hopefully keep on top of those. But again, we've had and it doesn't just rest with the employee either. It goes through a whole process, so there are many people involved, many different processes involved in that. But it is more due to the number of applications that we've received.
Okay, my application, we're still working on getting permits out to people who filed at the end of February. So I might get mine in the next few weeks. But again, you're violating the law that's on the book, and I would expect the government to follow it, no?
Well, I don't disagree with you.
More time, because there's going to be that forward of action like that, no?
All right, well, you're not wrong. The business administrator is, the township is aware of it, the business administrator is aware of it. They are working to remedy the situation. Councilman Papero, you were pointing out that there's a statewide,
There's also a backup at the state police level.
and that affects our ability to process.
Now, now goes to the state, my state level thing was done March 24th. And I'm not calling tonight for myself, I'm calling for the hundreds of other Hamilton residents as well.
Understood, that's fair. And we do want to see that remedied, and I'm going to ask our business administrator to follow up with us on that and keep us posted on, the resolution of that backlog.
New Jersey as a whole is notorious for arbitrary transfer, okay? And it goes on everywhere, not just Hamilton, I know that, okay? But And the more this is about, the more we can rent it in, and rent it out. And my rent is even out. That's just not good, because the rent out.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, I helped out by
All right. Follow up with this about.
You can follow up with me. I'm the council president, Rick Ty. Yeah, Rick Ty, rty@hamiltonnj.com is my email.
Yeah, I forgot about the
So I'll be happy to follow up with you, and we'll keep you posted as we work to resolve this.
Okay, I'll follow up with you about it.
All right, Joe. You got it. Thank you. All right, seeing no other members of the public wishing to comment, we will go to council comment, starting with, well, let's just take Janice. Since, Janice, go ahead. You had one more comment?
Oh, this is open public session, right?
Yeah, we were about to conclude it, but, please, go ahead.
Okay, is the council on the zoning board?
No. I'm the,
Okay, is Ileana on there or is she on planning?
Ileana's on zoning. Jeff, Councilman, or,
Coming up again?
Mayor Martin appointed former Councilwoman Shermer to the zoning board after her term on council was completed.
And tonight, we fill the position.
We've got the fight on our hands yesterday and Tuesday. And like the problem was, I was talking to Amy today, actually, and he said, you know, that you can go on to Zoom and like that. That's if you're really good on your computer, like he doesn't know, you know, according to his say, I don't know what to do. And so they had to go with my phone, which is okay too, but I mean, it makes it just a place that people can see, and they wanted more people to, you know, visible to this thing. And are we still open to buying it if we can get it?
Which property? What?
Solar panels?
Oh, Sweet
Oh, you're talking about Sweetbriar?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I missed some of the question, but simultaneously going on with the planning board approvals and the redevelopment plan, I'm foreclosing on that property.
The Sweetbriar
The
property?
landfill?
No,
Solar
no, this is a different solar panel
Oh,
project.
I'm sorry, I wasn't.
That's okay. Bianca, did you have something to add? No? Okay. So,
Because I didn't know if any of you guys did it, that you could go up and get it.
well, I'm open to the township, you know, looking at that as, preserving that as open space. I mean, there's a lot of wetland there, and it's a problematic property. I share your concern about, potential flooding problems that could be caused, if we allow a developer to clear cut that property. We're talking about a neighboring town, that is gonna benefit from this project. There's no benefit that accrues to Hamilton Township, from that. It's the Lawrence Sewer Authority that would be the beneficiary of the energy generated. So basically, our neighboring town wants to, clear cut forests on Sweetbriar, which is potentially gonna cause flooding for two different neighborhoods in Hamilton. So it is a problematic development. I share your concern, and I appreciate you bringing it to our attention that it's back on the agenda for the zoning board. I understand that the remote meetings are problematic. I'm not sure, you know, for someone who's not technology savvy, I know you can dial in for those meetings like you can dial in, for our meetings. But, otherwise, I don't have any additional remedy for you. I know we're working to get the public back into our meetings as soon as possible.
Yes.
It's not going to happen in time for this Monday's meeting, though.
Yeah, Yeah, I know you didn't be careful. But also, President Ace had brought up too that we had our own TV station, like if Hamilton had their own TV station, we could have done a lot of this on there too.
It's a fair point.
Okay, so that's all I was talking about. I was just curious if any of you guys would be there to, help fight this cause. Okay, and so there's actually been down Streetwise, there's a company there. Boy, what a beautiful job they've done with plants and grass, way back all the way up to Streetwise.
I'm sorry, Janice, your time's up.
My time is up.
You can come back for 2 more minutes if nobody else wants to comment.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Janice, there's no one else in the queue, so if you want to take the 2 minutes right now, you can just go ahead and take it. Did you have more? That was it.
The only other thing was that happened later, looking at the newspaper about how he had to pay $20,000 because of the Facebook page that wasn't published.
Oh, the former, so you're talking about the story where the former mayor was censoring her comments on her Facebook page.
Right, supposedly now has to go back for 2 months and nobody can comment on it.
Right, we did get that settled. The administration and our Department of Law continues to clean up messes and put out fires and resolve issues.
Okay, very good. It's just that it's costing money too.
Well, it does. It does. No one should violate anyone's First Amendment. I have to gavel you, Janice. You just, yeah, I'm gaveling you virtually, Janice, for using foul language in the meeting.
No, she didn't. No, she didn't. She did not. She came close. Did she just say?
It would close the gates of heaven if she ever did.
All right. Janice, I'm surprised that you're the first person I've had to gavel in the entire time we've been doing virtual meetings.
Way to go, Rick. Way to go, Rick.
Very surprised, Janice. All right, listen, thank you for calling in. You know what? I misheard you. Everyone's telling me I didn't hear you correctly, apparently. Well, I'm not going to repeat what I think you said.
You're blushing again.
I apologize, Janice. I gavelled you without merit.
Well, at least you get your chance to bang your gavel, okay?
Thank you. All right, Janice, unless you have anything else, your time's up anyway.
My time, but I did not say anything wrong.
You're correct. You're right. Good night. Okay, and so our queue is now empty. And we'll go ahead and close the queue.
Q&A session is over.
And now we'll start council comments with Councilman Whalen. I'm gonna gavel that too.
I could use a good gaveling. Well, first and foremost, thank you everyone that took the time and sat through tonight to listen in on the council meeting and the budget hearing and moving forward in the next year. More importantly, things are opening up again. We're back to, it was great to actually go out and see a baseball game over at Waterfront Park and see 2 high school teams play. It was really nice to get out and see that happen. And I could see that some of the other youth sports are opening up and people are getting back to some type of normalcy. But more important, I guess, for our seniors that are listening, just remember to be careful out there. It's hot. It's humid. Make sure you take the proper precautions to protect yourself and your loved ones, especially during this heat wave that we're all experiencing. Other than that, again, thank you, and everybody be safe, and good night.
Council President?
Councilwoman Phillips?
Thank you, Councilman Papero. I also want to emphasize what Councilman Whalen said too, is, make sure everybody's being careful. This heat is pretty brutal. Hopefully we come out of it soon. Know that we do have cooling centers also in the township. If you're not sure where to go, call Hamstat and they can let you know. I think too, it's great to see the games. I also know that a lot of the high schools now are being able to have some of their in-person graduations, so I want to congratulate the graduates, especially our seniors who have been looking forward to that for so long. And just be careful. Let's keep our numbers down. I think we had, in the last week, we had a day of 0 new cases of COVID in Hamilton. So keep up the good work, and we'll see you next month.
Councilman Carabelli?
Thank you. Just wanted to echo what was just said. Continue to be vigilant. Enjoy the rest of this summer, and hopefully we get through this together and quickly. So thank you all for calling in tonight, and thank you for your participation in our government.
Council Vice President Papero.
Thank you, sir. Real quick, keep supporting our local businesses. We know they've had trying times for the past 4 or 5 months. We got to try and get them as much help as we can. I know everybody's been good about eating out and now trying to dine in. Please continue to support our businesses. The graduates, I believe, is the 27th, right, at Trenton Thunder? All 3?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So good luck to all of our graduates. And just a little recognition, Congressman John Lewis passed away Friday, July 17th. He was considered one of the leaders of the civil rights movement and also a recipient of the Presidential Medal of Freedom. He was a leader, and I just thought that he should be recognized. I know the flags are at half-mast per Governor Murphy, and I just thought that he should be recognized in this meeting. Other than that, everybody have a safe night. Thank you for calling, and get home safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Papero, and thank you for acknowledging the passing of the congressman. I just want to thank everyone who assisted council in this budget process. I'm very appreciative of the hard work of everyone in the township. And it's been said before, but let's remain vigilant and continue to flatten that curve here in New Jersey. There's still a high degree of uncertainty that I know a lot of us are dealing with. But I'm encouraged by the continued compliance with safe social distancing measures that I'm seeing when I'm out in our stores and in the public. So I thank everyone for continuing to remain vigilant. And with that, we will adjourn tonight's meeting. Thank you.